meeting to order. Start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call and then.
Councilman Castillo. Councilman Stacia.
Present.
Councilman Hoppenstedt.
Here.
And Supervisor Longo.
Present. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Dwight or Linda, whoever wants to speak first.
I really don't think I need this microphone.
Yeah, you're right. When it comes to you, when it comes from you, I believe it.
We want to deliver a message on behalf of the highway superintendent for the town of Plattekill, and I'm gonna read it to you. It is with a heavy heart to inform everyone that on Friday, March 27th, 2026, our Plattekill community lost a dedicated friend, volunteer, and highway employee. Jody Depew started his career with the town of Plattekill Highway Department on February 28th in the year 2000. For 26 years, he was a dependable employee and coworker. Jody was committed to his fellow workers and all the residents in the town of Plattekill. He was responsible and knowledgeable and performed his duties in a professional manner by keeping our roads safe for everyone. Jody's quick wit and big-hearted personality filled the highway garage with love and laughter. He had the ability to brighten up the day, especially on the longest of nights during the winter snowstorms. Jody was a great example of professionalism and dedication. All of our employees and the community have suffered a great loss. Services for Jody will be on Saturday, April 4th, from 11 to 2 at Di Donano Funeral Home in Marlboro. And then it will be followed by a celebration of life at 3 o'clock at the Modena Firehouse. At this time, we express our deepest condolences to our fellow employees and Jody Depew's family.
We take a moment of silence, please. May the Lord embrace Jody in his loving arms, grant him eternal peace and rest. May he comfort all who mourn, filling us with strength and the precious memories. Amen. Amen. Thank you for everybody who's come out and touched not only the family, but his family here at work too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The town board would also like to offer our condolences to the highway department and his family for his years of service for the town, and also being a member of the fire department, and a friend to all of us too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, would you like to make the motion and start the meeting minutes? Since you do that so well.
I'll make a motion, we don't read the minutes.
Second.
March 18th meeting.
Second. On the vote?
Aye. Make a motion, we accept the minutes, March 18th meeting.
Second.
Aye.
Vote? Aye. Okay. We have a couple of additions. The first, of Deputy Chief Smith, you want to discuss resumes, I believe?
Yeah, well, thank you, Supervisor, Town Board. Just want to go over what we're trying to do is the new policy, on hiring, due to the fact that we are so low on staff, and all these other departments have changed their hiring policy to, get these recruits a little faster out of the academy. We're waiting prior to the, end of, we were waiting for the end of phase one and grabbing them to go to phase two. We're gonna step the process up. We're gonna start the hiring process in phase one. The being with that is, once we get them committed and tell them that they're hired, that doesn't mean that they're hired because we haven't completed their background yet. We haven't completed, and they haven't completed the academy yet. They haven't gone through probation yet, 180 hours. But once they commit to us, and the academy agrees they committed to us, we now have them for the minimum of probably a year to 18 months. Before, if we waited until phase two, they had the option to go where they wanted after they already said, we'll come with you, because we didn't physically hire them, tell them that we took them on yet. If I need to explain that further, I probably can. We're just gonna step the process up by like 3 weeks. And the difference in the 3 weeks means that once we say you're hired, we go through, it's contingency, which will have a contingency letter, which will say the background's gotta be fully completed by the detectives. You have to finish the 180 hours of training, and you have to finish the probation period, which under any circumstances, they can be let go at any time for no just cause during that period. It's just that we have to lock them in earlier to retain them. We do have three right now that we're working with on that. Hopefully those three will move forward and everything will come out good, and we'll go through. Obviously, we have to do the drug testing. Now, that's mandatory, and we have to do the psych test, which is mandatory on them all. So once we tell them they're hired and they fail any part of that, game's over. So I just wanna make sure the board, myself and the chief, wanna make sure the board is well aware of what the new process is. We will be emailing supervisor the applications right away, and once you give us your first blessing, we're gonna move forward. But like I said, the first blessing is not a guarantee that they're hired, it's just a guarantee for us to move forward.
Okay, I wanna ask you a question on that.
Yes, sir.
Before we used to get somebody, all of a sudden they leave. Was that after the probation period of the ride-along?
Yes, that's the key, Willie.
That's what I wanna know.
We have to sign off. Once we lock them into that academy and we get them for that period, we're guaranteed we have to keep until we sign off on their 180 hours of the probation period. They're not fully MPT certified until we sign off, our FTO officers sign that last piece of paper. If they leave us, they're not police officers.
But excuse me, but isn't that after phase two?
Yeah, but once we hire them, right, so once we lock them in, we got them. They gotta get that paper signed. Once the academy knows that we've hired them, we got them, the paperwork comes to us, we have them.
All
So
right.
where does, you had mentioned a year to 18 months guaranteed.
Right. Not guaranteed, at least, guarantee is the 180 probationary field training hours. They have to do that. In a part-time place, 180 hours, you're looking at 9 to 12 months. And
It should be longer, Smitty.
I wish I could retain them for 2
For
years.
the amount of money it costs the town,
Oh, I've been here 21 years, I know.
it should be, they have to sign a contract for longer time than that.
We're looking into that, and I'm going to get too far into other than what we spoke about. But yes, we are looking into some way we can do that. Right now, we're told we can't sign a contract like that with them.
All right, so what is it that you're gonna need from us?
Just once you get the application, we'll just forward it to you. You can make sure that the application gets forwarded to the rest of the board members. You know, the rule was, you guys wanted 2 weeks. If you can get it back to us within a week, that will be a lot faster for us. It really steps the process up.
Well, we already got your application.
Sergeant Master sent us.
Today, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
So,
we already received.
once you give us that's what we need. You just look those over, give us the thumbs up. And again, that's not a guarantee that they're hired. That's just giving us the okay to move forward.
Well, let me ask you, by the next meeting, would that give you enough time?
No. That's the problem. That's why before it was 2 weeks. That's why we mail it to you early. Can you forward it to the rest of the board and give us their nod? That's what we're looking for. Or your nod, Supervisor?
Well, it would have to be a board decision. I mean, unless the board wants to make a decision.
Well,
Yeah.
the way I see it, okay, if we have any questions on these, we should have, let's say Monday, because today's Wednesday. Monday, if you don't get no calls from anybody from here, go forward. That's
Okay.
my suggestion, because everybody does have the, resumes.
Right.
Right.
And if we have a question on a person, we'll reach out to you. If we don't
Okay.
have a question, should be there.
But I think we'd have to do something on the record, so we'd have to make a motion tonight and do something tonight.
Well, that would be a motion that we would have 4 days to look at it, and if everybody's comfortable, and nobody calls them, or we tell you that we're okay.
So, if we don't hear nothing back in the first week after we submit you the application, would it be appropriate to say that we could move forward?
Then we
after the
move forward
first
on
week.
it,
All right.
giving us a week.
So then let's,
And then at the next meeting, we'll just make a motion that we accepted
During that period.
the
Do that
resume,
base.
the
Is that
application.
acceptable for the board? That's
So you-
acceptable to us.
If it's acceptable to you,
If we turn them into you, and if we don't hear nothing from any of the board members,
You're gonna hear from me either way.
within a week, we're gonna move forward.
I'll still
So
call you.
their background checks and everything will be done in the.
No,
4
that's what I
days?
just said before, they'll be started probably, by that time, by the time you get it, we'll probably be about halfway through, 3/4 through. So I'm asking correct on that, about halfway, 3/4?
We're 3/4 away now. All we're asking for is your permission.
well, I
Send
think
it.
you should hear either or.
Right.
So if we give you, make a motion that by Monday,
Yep.
we get a hold of the police department, individual, this way, if Mike's here or not, whatever, because we miss, everybody has to call, say, we're okay with this way you have it on record.
all right, then let's make a motion then, that we'll have,
I think Sergeant Vasta has a,
Question.
All we're asking is permission to send them a tentative letter to lock them in.
okay.
To lock them in, that's what we lock them in.
It's almost like a gentleman's agreement between us and them, that they have a guarantee that if everything goes well with their background, their psych, their drug test, that we're going to employ them for their first day of phase 2.
Okay, and then if it doesn't, we also have the right to
Right.
reject.
Of course,
correct?
absolutely. Of course.
because they haven't completed their
Well, if-
180 hours.
yeah, so
Any
pass
part
the
of that background that gets.
Or they don't pass the academy.
I'll rescind that motion, and that we give the permission for the police department to send the recommendation, letter of employment. If everything works, once they finish their second term, and then they go through the background check, and then you can hire them. Anybody
Okay.
wanna second that?
So I understand this then, so we're making a motion right now, just so that you can send a letter of intent, is that pretty much what you want?
Correct.
All right, so that'll probably simplify it.
Yeah, except for.
All right, so then,
That's the motion.
okay, so I'll second that motion then, if that's what we're doing.
Okay,
On the vote? Aye.
thank you very much, thank you all, thank you.
All right. Next. Oh, do you wanna address this to training, or do you want me to do it?
I guess it's really a statement that will go out to, well, anybody that works in the town hall, planning board, zoning board, building inspectors, whatever, that in order to get reimbursed for training, they have to get pre-approval. We have people putting in for mileage reimbursements who never got approval and they went out for training. And that's not all rules. It's like, get pre-approval and you'll get paid.
Yep, that's the way it goes.
Didn't we do a motion on this?
We
We
probably did it
discussed
more
it.
than once, and you're just not following protocol.
So you're saying, Joe, we didn't, we just discussed, we never put it in motion as a, okay. Well, then let's do that now, so.
No, I think that was done.
That was done, and it's also.
That was done a
part
few
of the
times
rules.
throughout the years.
Throughout the years, but we haven't done one this year.
Oh, we don't have to. Rules are rules. You don't have to keep reapproving every
Been
year.
that way for years.
Okay, all right, thank you, Sarah. I guess next would be, public input then. Oh, is there something else? I skipped something. What, this here? Oh, I'm sorry. The next addition is, our 2 building inspectors. We already approved, their training, but we have to, no, it was a voucher or whatever it was, but we have to, I guess, make it mandatory, so we'll have to make a motion And, so it's in writing that, we're agreeing to their training.
Well, I know, it did come up, and I know we approved it, because we also signed
The
vouchers.
vouchers, that's what
They
it
just
was.
wanted to make sure everything was in place. They did it the correct way.
Right, so then I'll make a motion that our two building inspectors, will be able to, take the necessary training that they need in New Paltz between the 21st and 23rd of April.
Second.
On the vote?
Aye.
Alright, I guess now I can go to public input. So at 7:15, I will open the floor to, public input.
I'll second that.
On the vote? Aye.
Aye.
Sis?
This Norris. Got the newspaper. I was very upset. And Michael, you and I discussed this on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
The committee for the veterans is not appointed, it's not paid for by taxpayers of this town. Over 26 years, we have been. And I was one of the first starters of the committee with a bunch of old timers, a lot of them have passed. We had one rule that was made from the very beginning. No politics to be discussed in any way, shape, or form, because our job was to do for the veterans. Everybody was a volunteer. When we first cleared the land, the town was justified in asking us to sign a waiver in case somebody got hurt. People with heavy equipment had to produce insurance, and if they didn't have it, then they couldn't do it. And that was good because it protected the taxpayers of the town. After that, we did fundraisers. We raised on our own in 3 years $68,000 when we went for a grant through Larkin. We had two accounts, the parade account and the memorial account. The parade account, we had 2 signatures of members of the Veterans Committee, so we always knew where the money was. The memorial account always went to the bookkeeper for the memorial because it was a special fund to build that memorial. There were always 3 copies, town clerk, the bookkeeper, and the Veterans Committee. We always made the supervisors the liaison because on any board, the main officer is a deciding vote when there is a tie. We had no problem. The new chairman, because I had to step down for personal reasons of a sick child. So our new chairman and the vice chairman were elected. They were following what we did for over 25 years. Never a problem. When I first heard about this, I called you, Michael,
Right, we spoke.
and I told you that we were volunteer, there were no politics, and to save your own hide, put that person back
And I did,
on that list.
and I did.
Well, I'm being told different.
No,
But
that person was put back on that list.
We don't, unless the person commits a felony, murder or something like that, we wouldn't even accept the person on our committee. We do more than the parade, the Veterans Day, that you have no idea what we've done for veterans. This article, I ended up with phone calls. What is going on with the committee? I said, I don't know. The chairman kept calling me back and forth. And I must tell you, we had a meeting and we refused Mary Ann's letter. She's still vice chairman. It has been put off to the next meeting. And I spoke up and I told them, tell Dean to come to the meeting. The board does not tell us who volunteers and gives hours and hours to the veterans. That's our only interest. We don't want no politics, no nothing. So my second issue, I have three. Second issue is, I congratulated you. I said, I hope this board acts as one. I don't go out much, but I've been in this town over 50 years, and I don't think there's many people that don't know me, that call me. They're so upset with what's going on. The clearing of the computers, all that. So I don't know what's going on, but when I took the oath and you took the oath, we represent the taxpayers of this town. Our personal feelings, our politics, goodbye. When you sit up there, every decision you make has to be for the benefit of the taxpayers of this town. There's no room for personal feelings. When I sat up there were times, there were people I didn't care for, but I never let my personal feelings interfere with what was best for the taxpayers of this town. So please take my advice. Whatever it is, whatever the controversy is going on, put it aside and think of every soul that lives in this town when you make a decision. That's all I ask. And Willie, you know I'm a stickler for that.
I know.
And I'll fight when I think something's wrong and it's gonna hurt the people of the town. You're gonna hear my big mouth. That's all I can say. Now my third issue, I hadn't been out of my house since September, only off and on. Last Saturday I went to a veterans thing in Dutchess County, and as I pulled out of my driveway and I'm heading down the road, I see a new driveway all the way back past the fence to the hotel landfill. I don't know who owns the land. I haven't finished investigating, but they did it. I called neighbors. Oh, they did it on a Saturday and Sunday, sis. Didn't you know? No, I didn't. But what worries me is that's a toxic landfill. We don't need another Love Canal. I saw lumber back there. That property goes back and it swerves around. And where the landfill is, the EPA said no wells are to be dug within a certain distance. And their main concern and they still test the wells southeast, which goes down to that swamp at the bottom of the road, goes all the way down Pancake Hollow, past the high school, Butt Creek, into the Hudson. My thing is, the EPA, when Joe Croce was supervisor, tried to get the town to take over the property. We don't want that, because then you're putting every taxpayer in jeopardy for cleanup, or if somebody buys that land and doesn't know the history of it, they can sue the town. And who's gonna pay the bill? But the taxpayers. So I'm not done investigating. You may see me at the next town board meeting. And you know me well enough to know I'm not gonna let it go. Because we fought that for the safety of the town. I used to lay up in the woods and watch on a Saturday trucks come in, dump like a red fluid over the bank, which goes to that creek down to the school and all. But it was red. By the time I got from the top hill down to get a sample to get the Board of Health, it was hardening. And then a couple days later, it was black in color. So everyone concerned about that Hertel landfill is justifiably so. There's no fencing all the way around it. You know,
It's in our code, it's a Superfund.
There was a for sale sign out in front of the place.
yes, but it's
Somebody
gone.
must have bought it,
Yes,
so that's what's going
and
on.
my fear is,
Someone never should have bought that property.
no, that property should have never, and this town should never sign off to the EPA, because that puts you liable. Am I correct?
I would think so.
But that piece of property, where it is that actually, does it belong to the dump?
No.
Or was it separate?
No.
Separate.
Where
So that's why it could be
Mrs.
sold.
Rosa
Right.
lived, the house next to it with the hot dog stand and
Yeah.
everything, that, there's a fence. But if you go on Bedell Avenue, years ago, the kids got in there and lit firecrackers, and the dump caught on fire. And poor Clintondale was at their dinner. There's guys in suits trying to fight it. They had to tell the man that lives in Mrs. Rose's house to stop blocking it. He didn't even want our police in there. And actually, he owned to the fence and then back this way. But then there was the vacant land, which wraps up around, you know where the big yellow apartment house is? It goes to that extent up behind the shooting range. But the EPA only allows wells to be done within 20 feet. I got a call from a friend in Florida who told me she heard a development was going on. So I don't know. But trust me, I will be at the next meeting with a report of what I find out.
Sis,
I spoke to the building
I want to
inspector.
address it.
they were already out there, yes, the building inspector.
Right, and the state, we
They
shut
put a
them
stop,
down
they put a stop work order on it.
because they had no permit
No driveway
to put that
access.
word driveway in. And I'm gonna tell you, that man that lives in the Rosa house, be very careful.
Well,
Even the poor guys that go and test his wells are afraid of them. So, but how do you tell a police officer where there's no homes, no traffic, that they can't sit there? They're doing their job. Whether you like it or not, thank God we got a force that does their job. And I've had personal dealings with them, so I'll back them 100% every time. That's my 3 gripes. I will see you at the next meeting.
well, I'd like to respond to you.
Okay,
I did take your advice, and I did put that other person, reappointed her back on the committee.
both of them, both the husband
Oh,
and wife.
okay, well, I put the one, and like I said, the board voted on that list of people to go on the committee, but the town board, though, ultimately is the one who chooses the committee.
Yeah.
They could make recommendations, but in any event, she was put back on. You're right, the husband wasn't, and I told you why. Okay, and
And I told you you were wrong, and it would come out politically, that's what it's done.
Well, that's the way it was made to sound,
Well,
but,
I'm gonna tell you right now, we're voting them right back on our committee, 'cause we're volunteers. You don't pay us, we don't do anything, everything we do as a courtesy, as a committee, we let you know, and Jim, you know that's true. We have people that are up in age, can't make all the meetings, will not come out in the winter, but they donate money for the repair of the tent, they buy the flags for the cemetery. It doesn't mean that all them people are inactive. Why I was not active, I did a lot.
and I'm not
My
taking
house.
anything away from any of the other members.
No,
And
we're voting
my
it back,
point,
Michael,
my,
I'm going against you.
okay, my point was, and I told you why, because of what was done. And I didn't feel that person would be fit to sit on any committee for what was done. Okay, where computer being wiped, files missing, and I felt that that's not a person who should be representing the town
That has
in any
nothing
capacity.
to do with the Veterans Committee.
Okay.
We're non-political.
All right,
And
well,
everybody is a volunteer.
and I'm doing the best that I can with what I'm having to work with, and I'm trying to do a good job, and I'm trying to do the best for this community, with everybody, with the fire departments, with the police department, with the highway department, and everybody else I work with, including in this building. And and I had told you that originally, when you called me, that's what I explained to you, and I explained it to Cheryl Dietz also. So,
Well, we've heard 3 different stories.
well,
So I don't know.
No,
which
I'm
one
telling
is
you
true.
the real deal, okay? Because I got confirmation on that from the IT people who do our computers. What was done, how it was done, why it was done, okay? I have that proof. And I'm not the only one in this room that knows that. There's other people in this room that also know that proof. So I'm not making this up, and I could prove it. But getting on to the next topic, which was what? What was the other topic you said besides?
That you all work as one
Correct,
body.
and we all,
No politics
okay,
involved.
and we all-
No personal feelings.
that was something we discussed at our reorg meeting, that we were all gonna work as one. I mean, it's been a little rocky, but I think now we're working cohesively. So, in the beginning, I could understand there was some maybe misunderstandings, some bad feelings, but I think now we're all working together as one board. And as far as that driveway, like I said, we got a phone call, and the state put a stop work order, and I believe the building department was also gonna put a stop work order on it. But that property was for sale, it's been for sale for a while. It's not connected to the Hertel landfill, it's a separate parcel.
It adjoins the hotel.
Well, yes, but they all touch, but my point is, it's a separate parcel. So, I mean, it's like anything else. If somebody has a piece of property and they wanna sell it, they could sell it. So, I mean, it's gonna be buyer beware if they go to do anything there, but it hasn't, the only thing they did was cut the driveway in, which they shouldn't have, so that's why they were stopped. As far as that, they haven't been in to do anything, so we don't know anymore. So as we know, we'll let the public know.
Well, I
That's all.
definitely am gonna stay on it, Michael.
No, that's fine. I mean, so is the town. But
I did tell the building inspector that I do have all the maps. I have the map from when the Ford plant, where they dumped their stuff. I
Yeah,
was
from-
on the
from, Mahwah, New
original
Jersey.
committee that bought that landfill.
But-
And I have all that material in my house.
Well, but I'd explain to you the whole situation about the other
Well,
deal, so.
we are a volunteer group. Nobody, once you're in office, and like us, there's no politics. That's my main concern. My main concern is the people of this town. And that man and woman have been on our committee from day one. So, till I see different, And I can tell you, I've had my run-ins with him, yous know it, and I've told him he could be a bully, but the man never let his personal feelings interfere what he was doing for the veterans, and that's what we care about. That's our main concern. We're not paid, we don't do anything we do, you have a record of everything we do.
Well, it wasn't politics. For me, it was a trust issue. It had nothing to do with politics, but I'll leave it at that.
Well, he's not done anything to the committee. We have had 3 people resign years ago because they were not doing the right thing. So we handled it in-house, the letters came in, and we accepted it. The committee did not accept her letter, and we are not accepting the fact that they're gonna be on the committee. I can tell you that. And you could be mad at me,
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all.
but you know me, Michael, I tell you what I think.
That's fine, and you know me, I do the same thing.
Right.
So I say what I feel too.
Since, James Fazio and myself were in the office when the list came in, and I have to apologize. When we did the reorg, I did not read the list, I didn't know wasn't the original list that was handed in. Because the, president of the committee brings in the list, and that's it. I did not know, James, we didn't know either.
Karen Peak handed us the list, we read it the first time, well, what's the list out on the bulletin board?
Yeah,
It's
If you
got
read that.
their names on it,
okay, I'm just saying that,
and that's.
I'm
the
sorry
way
I didn't read it.
We're running it. I just
I'm
want you to
just
know.
giving you what, on my part, and James, says, are you gonna listen?
I'm listening.
Okay, please listen. James and I were there when the list came in. We had the reorg. I thought it was the same list. I didn't look it over because there's so many people on that list. I didn't know that it was not the original list. It was approved by the board, but I did not know that it wasn't the original list. That's all I'm saying.
It doesn't matter.
Annette?
Sis made reference, you made reference, most people don't even know what you're talking about, to the wiping of the computer. Now, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but my understanding is the former supervisor had files deleted. What kind of files?
Everything that was on the computer. I don't know.
How far back?
I think it was blank, and probably back as far as Joe Croce or further. I don't know.
Yeah, but,
Really?
you know
Are
what?
there not consequences for doing something like that?
Excuse me. I wasn't a part of that. I didn't know nothing about it.
I didn't
Wait,
say you
one
did.
second. I don't know, he keeps on saying, and I told him in executive session, I don't know what files that he's referring to that are gone because the, clerk in that office, confidential secretary, has everything on her computer. Okay? So to me, any emails back and forth, I don't know because I've been involved in the town for 17 years and I haven't been on one computer in this town. Because that's not my job. But what I'm saying is, the whole board is not saying this. He said, he read that it was white, but I don't know what was white or not. I don't know how far back it goes. I don't know what's going on.
Well, not evidently, any IT person worth his weight, a computer is never wiped out. They can always find stuff. It's always hidden in there. So,
If this is something that's still being investigated, I don't think
Yes.
it's something that should be discussed.
My point is,
That's all I have to say.
You're right.
shouldn't there be consequences?
we don't know what was there, what
But-
wasn't there.
It's been said, if this is political. Matter of fact, I was very distressed reading this article. Did the reporter come to you, Michael, and ask you your
No.
side?
Nobody asked me anything.
Very, very distressed about that. The point is, they're saying it's political.
Well, naturally, they
Certain
gotta say
people
it's
are
political,
saying
what else they
it's
gonna say?
But if
They're
your
not gonna admit
issue
to it.
your issue is a trust issue,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Right.
beyond that, you're working on it, whatever. But to me, if somebody does that, there should be consequences.
I agree. What they should be, I don't know.
Mike, again, it's something that's being investigated, it's not
Right.
something we can really talk about.
Okay.
I agree with you, Kaufman, that it should be.
Anybody else have any questions like that? Yeah, yeah.
Happy birthday, Sarah. Thank you.
Oh, happy birthday, Sarah.
You
She's
missed the
such a
party, we had a
baby.
party there.
I don't remember what I wanted.
I'm, a little concerned about it, if these people bought this property, and it's right out in front of the Hertel landfill,
Well,
do
it's
they
adjacent,
know
it's
what they
adjacent
are
to it.
buying, what they have purchased?
No idea. There was a for sale sign on that property
I
for a
know,
while.
yeah.
Well, that's why I'm gonna
Has it
go
been sold?
investigate.
Yeah, so somebody bought it and roughed the road in there,
Okay,
driveway, I should say.
so we must have a record of who owns it, right?
I would imagine. Let's check with the assessor.
Normally
Maybe
takes
it might
30
be a
days
good
for
idea
the
to
sale
tell
to
them.
come down from the county.
For who to tell who?
For somebody in this town to
Well-
tell them about the property if they don't know.
Well,
When there's a
I mean,
buffer,
that's why there's also a title search, you're
Right.
supposed to research everything before
You
they buy a
purchased it.
piece of land.
Well, I don't know, it just seems to me like,
it's in our zoning code and everything, and there's a buffer, and if they don't go near the buffer, there's nothing we can do about it.
How big is the buffer?
I don't know without looking at the law book.
I don't know.
Zoning
I don't know
code.
either. Yeah, you have to
well,
see
there should be a
what's
survey.
delineated, yeah, I'm sure it is. It'll be delineated what it's supposed to be.
And if there's a buffer going onto their property, it should be in the title search.
Right.
Anybody else have any questions?
Doug Foster, Chief of Platicille Fire Department. I just had a question, or suggestion as far as the building department and when there's permits that are given that may be of benefit to know from the fire department perspective. So for those that aren't aware, both Dollar Generals in the town of Platicille have been approved for solar panels to be added to their roof structures. Those are lightweight truss construction roofs, which are usually an inherent danger to firefighting operations as they stand. So my concern is the additional weight, and potentially what was manufactured to not hold that additional weight, having solar panels added to them. For our firefighter safety, my ask would be is that events like that or approvals like that in the future, we just get a notification. It's not our interest or intent to have a piece of the approval process, but simply just for our firefighters to be safe in firefighting operations, that we know when those types of additions are done to structures. There is a process that the town of Newburgh has for that. I'd be happy to share that with whoever you deem to be appropriate, whether it be on the board or the building department. But I just wanted to bring it publicly to you and ask for that process to be reviewed. And if there's not a process for that, for us to be able to work together for that to be able to exist. So that's all.
I have to ask you a question on that. I know they have to, I believe they have to come in and get a permit, right, in the building department?
They did, yes.
Yeah.
So, I would assume, because of what you're saying, they would have to have an engineer
Right.
that's gonna approve it.
So in
But-
theory, but not always.
But I understand another thing, with the snow load that was done, especially this year, and that way, that would be a big concern. Because our building department should look at it that way also. And whatever you have, you wanna give it to us, and we'll give it to them, and this way, it's a big concern, because this winter was really something that other places, their roofs collapsed and they didn't have solar panels. So I understand your concern, and thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Absolutely, and, you know, not just from a commercial structure perspective, but residential as well.
Yes.
I mean, my concern is I just wanna put our firefighters on the roof where there's additional risk, that's all.
Well, the panels are always electrified, even when your lights from your fire trucks.
Correct. And they're we can talk about, you know,
I know,
design and all that
I
stuff,
understand what you're saying.
but yeah, just looking for a process to make it a little bit safer for us, and advanced knowledge is better for us for pre-planning, so.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Going once, going twice? All right, then I'll make a motion that we close, public input at, 7:45.
Wait a second, okay.
Vote,
You
aye.
got it. Aye.
Under old business, we're gonna put off the bid for the mowing.
I thought it was open.
Well, it was, but there's another issue that I'm not gonna get into right now. So we're gonna have to, put that off until the next meeting. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and now we're into, new business.
No, actually, it's still old, Mike.
What?
Has
Where?
everybody reviewed the recommendations by the
Oh, yeah.
building
for the
inspectors? They wanna update some of the building codes? Well, it should be old.
I have it under new, but
Okay,
okay.
whatever, it should, okay.
Well,
well-
go ahead, you started, go.
Whether it's old or new, the building inspectors just had some recommendations. They wanna bring some of the codes, I guess you'd call it more strict, more up to date, stuff they've been aware of, and I was just wondering if everybody else read it and checked it, so we could move on and maybe get it into law.
All right, so then what we'll have to do, if you want the next meeting, we'll set up a public hearing, and, we'll keep going with it. What's the board?
How does that work, Sally? You researched it a little bit, correct?
And open up,
Well, it's gotta go out to
Hang
public
on.
hearing.
that's what we do next.
Daryl,
Yeah, the next meeting,
Derek,
yeah.
that's what-
We researched it.
Sorry.
Yeah, but if you guys all read it, read it, are okay to proceed,
Yes.
next meeting, you would introduce it as a local law, and then from there, you would set your public
So
hearing.
James, you wanna make it a motion and then I'll set it?
Make a motion,
That
we,
the
what was
board
it,
has
Ernie?
reviewed.
Introduce it as
The next,
At the next meeting, we should introduce it as a local law,
local.
and once we introduce it as a local law, we can then set a public hearing, because then you have a hearing, you have a reason to have a hearing,
and that's gonna be,
and that's when we go forward.
Okay.
So,
So you made a motion to,
no, there's no motion that has to be made, you just have to re-bring it up next
Okay.
month as
Next month.
an introduction, as a local law. introduction.
Right, okay. All right, next topic is for our, SRO agreement with the, Walkville School District. I guess, it'll be from September 1st of 2026 to June 30th of 2027. And I guess somebody, has to, make a motion for me to sign this agreement. I believe, what did we do? We raised it, was it $1? $1 an hour?
$1, it's a hair less than what Chief Lopez asked for.
Mhm.
What did we come up with, Sarah? Was it 37 cents an hour?
yeah,
Or something?
37.
Which I don't think is a deal breaker.
No, I can see.
And it got changed, it was SPO, he wanted to change to SRO,
Yeah,
which the school agreed to,
yeah,
so.
alright. So, and if somebody wants to make a motion, so I can sign this thing.
I'll make a motion, the town supervisor sign the contract.
I will second it.
Okay, all in the vote?
Aye.
Okay. We're also gonna have to set up a interview date for, the Assistant Recreation Director. What will work for you guys?
I don't know who actually interviews her.
Isn't it 2 board members, or 3 board members?
Well, I don't think it'd be 3, cause then it'd be considered a meeting.
Alright,
We wouldn't
how have you
to-
done it in the past? Let me ask you that, cause I've never done that, so how
I would
Who's
assume
the,
2 people,
my
so.
liaison still, who's the liaison for the board?
I believe you were, you and I were taking off.
Yeah, so Michael and I will interview.
Okay.
And my concern, I would like to get a letter from Bob McGregor, because Linda has put in an application. I have no problem with Linda at all, but I wanna make sure that our highway superintendent has no issues or concern if the interview went to her, because we don't know.
Right.
But I would like to get a letter from Bobby saying that he supports it or doesn't support it, because that's his employee.
Okay. All right.
So if you could make a motion that you reach out to him, or I don't know if you wanna do it in motion,
Or send a memo?
Yeah.
send him a memo?
Yeah.
Okay,
Amendment's fine.
thank you very much. I don't wanna say yes to somebody, and then all of a sudden you get nailed with, something.
Oh, and in fact, the bond agreement for, Old East Road. So I'm not gonna actually read this whole thing into record, but, we're gonna have to make a motion. Probably a motion, for me to sign it. And also, I think there's a place here also for, we have to make, I believe, is this motion for you also to sign, Sarah? Commissioner Spector too? I mean, what I could read in, that this whole thing should go in as a point of record. What I will do is just read this, the bond resolution of the town of Plattekill, New York, adopted April 1st, 2026, authorizing the estimated maximum cost thereof is $1,500,000, appropriating said amount for such purpose and authorizing the issuance of $1,500,000 serial bonds of said town to finance said appropriation. So basically then, with this, then we'll be able to go to the bank, borrow the money we need to do the construction. I guess once it's approved, then we get reimbursed, the money back, so.
I'll make a motion that the supervisor sign this agreement, or bond.
Mike, before we vote on it, I just have one question.
We'll second it and then
Okay.
go to discussion.
Well, he's got discussion?
I'll second it then.
Okay. I was just curious, I know we had to get a new lawyer, cause other guys who choose, whatever.
Well, no,
backed out.
we couldn't, yeah.
Right. So the cost of this lawyer, is it like the same thing as the other guys are, or?
To be honest with you, James, I just got this, when did I get this, Sarah, last night?
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. I didn't get into all of it because I must have called, I don't know how many law firms, couldn't get anybody to do it.
I know,
And
I called a bunch too, so.
And, we have 30 days to actually, to
Right.
move on this, so, I'm sure it'll probably be what, I don't expect it to be an exorbitant amount of money. So,
Are we gonna use this guy for the bridge ban for the Old Mill Road Bridge? Is that
That
contract?
was already in, was it?
No, Keller walked away. Said you gotta find somebody else to do it. We discussed that in the last executive session.
well, this was
I thought that was all approved from,
Right, but we
2
gotta,
years ago.
we gotta re-up the ban, that
Well,
bond too.
well, then I could work on that, but I don't,
We got bigger problems in Old East Road.
well, but if we didn't do this,
Now. we're
but,
gonna look
right,
at
we would've lost the grant.
The grant. we
So
have to
that's
do
why
this.
this was, but I could find out about that also.
Yes.
Didn't he give you a list of the fees on calls?
I didn't, I called,
It was frustrating for him and James to call all these people, and that might have slipped by the wayside, but we will get.
yeah, I'll get that. I mean, right now, the important thing was to get this. That I'll worry about now. No, I'm not worried about that now. We're about getting this in so that we get the money.
There's a motion on the floor.
Right, he seconded, any more discussion?
No, I guess not.
Okay, on the vote? Aye. Alright. Now, do we have to make a separate motion for you to sign too, Sarah? So I think your name is,
But I think it's just that I entered it into the record.
and that's it? So then we don't need to,
I'm good.
okay. Alright. So, I believe that's it, other than what, vouchers?
Yeah, but we should go into executive session.
Right, that was the,
Personnel.
that was the highway.
Again?
Right?
That makes sense.
The
It was
resolution.
brought up.
Oh. First I'm hearing about it. Alright, well,
No, it was brought up with public input, so. If they're looking into it, we have to see what we're doing.
I don't know what happened.
On the base of it.
Oh. alright, you guys wanna go and talk about that, then we'll go and talk.
Willie, is that a motion?
Yes, it's more.
I'll second your motion.
Alright, on the vote, alright, so we're going in at, 7:55. Alright.
Okay.
The one that.
The laptop,
I'm working with Facebook to try to recover
yeah,
to get into
the
it.
password,
They don't have the passage.
yeah, we're trying to.
Alright,
I forgot about that.